I disagree with that. I disagree that just being a black couple means that you're better for those black children. I think that that also has to come with a foundation of teaching them racial pride. And um I I I think like just the fact that most black people still marry other black people, but we don't see an increase in black people spending money with black people. We don't see an increase in the black community tackling some of the major issues in the black community. So if it's just about black people being with black people, how come those problems still largely exist?
White supremacy. You know what I'm saying? There's a bigger issue than that. There's a bigger issue. There's a reason why I'm purposefully saying I hire black people. I start black companies in black areas and hire the community. Like I'm purposefully doing that because I'm giving the numbers saying that a lot of times when we start companies, we're hiring people, and you know I know people go off the DEA thing and all that type of stuff, but we don't have access to opportunity. You know, if everything was equal, then white companies would be hiring us left and right. But we know that's not the truth. What's happened is that we don't even being able to earn the money to be able to spend the money in the community. You know, we go in any one of our communities. A lot of these businesses aren't black owned. They're commercial, or the mom and pop. But a lot of the money comes from somebody white. Whether you know, so it's like we have to purposefully take back the financial part. That's why the powernomics perspective is what I always talk about. Dr. Claude Anderson. You know, like we before we go to vote. Well, I say for me, before I go on a vote tangent, I have to get me and my wife named Taryn. I got to make sure that me and Taryn have a financial base. Make sure that me and Taryn have a financial base as a couple, as a married couple. And, you know, let's say our neighborhood is 54 homes. If 54 homes, if they were all black, then the goal for the first floor is for those 54 homes or 54 families to have that financial base. And once we have that financial base, then floor two is for a lot of us coming together and putting that financial base into a political perspective. And that's floor two. And then floor three is like, so it's like we don't have our financials straight. So we can't even get to steps 2, 3, or 4 because I don't care what Instagram say. We ain't got no money. We
Well,
don't.
Sean's saying white supremacy is the reason why black families are not, I guess, passing on knowledge or succeeding. What do you think, Ty?
I think it's more has to do with racial pride than anything. Like you've been saying, I don't know if it's really we don't have opportunities. We just not creating opportunities for ourselves and for the people behind us. We still have this keep up with the Joneses and crabs in a bucket mentality. I don't think there's plenty of opportunities. I mean, me and Fitz, if there were no opportunities, we wouldn't have master's degrees. We wouldn't be in the positions that we are now without creating those opportunities for ourselves. Nobody gave it to us, but we had to earn it. And I think with the way the things are now, people aren't willing to work for their opportunities. People have a sense of entitlement to where it's like, I'm owed this, and you're not owed anything in this world. And then again, tying that with the racial pride. I mean, if you're not proud to be who you are, it ain't gonna translate to anything else. So then does it become about white supremacy or the individual?
I mean, but who says that though? Yeah, I'm just wondering, like who really says that though? Like, I'm owed everything, so I don't have to do anything. Like,
well, I think a lot of black people.
I've been around.
Yeah. I think that
I've
black
never
people feel entitled when it comes to other black people. Like, you should automatically spend your money with me because I'm black and you're black. And I think the truth of the matter is that Asian people, white people, all these other groups of people, they work harder for the black dollar than black people work for the black dollar.
Right. Please elaborate.
So for example,
I would highly disagree.
So when I say that the other groups of people, they work harder for the black dollar, what I'm saying is it's no coincidence that all of the places that sell fake hair are owned by like Asian people or people outside the groups, outside of black people. There's nothing stopping black people from going and owning those stores.
But there is something. That's the part. There's something stopping us because they have that industry, because we tried on this side to tap into that industry, and it's very, very difficult. It's
where are
those
you getting that
conversations
from?
like Kanye would talk about with the fashion. People say, well, just do it yourself. It's like when there's a system set up that you can't penetrate, those
That's an
Asian people
excuse.
own that beauty industry, and they have to let you in the part where, of course, we can do it on a level where it's on a smaller level. And I'm talking about getting good deals, getting good shipping, getting good for there's people that won't work with us. They just won't. They won't work with us.
But
I'm
that's
saying
an
us, black
excuse.
people.
You can go start a hair business and get hair and things like that. But if you're not working for if you're not working for the business, then I don't think it's gonna pan out over the long term. But C-Dot, you said you disagreed. Why do you disagree
Yeah.
that black people don't work as hard for the black dollar than other groups of people?
Because I think that like what you just said was kind of a disingenuous statement. There are several, especially if you're on social media, you can go all over Instagram and you'll see a plethora, especially of black women selling authentic hair. Selling synthetic hair. The problem is, where are they getting the hair from? We don't manufacture, so therefore they have to still work with these Asians in order to progress in that field or in that business. So I think that when we say that we don't try as hard and all this, no, it's not that. It's the fact that we've been shut out of a lot of these industries for so long. And like the brother was just saying, trying to get back into these industries, when we do try to get into these industries and see who they are controlled by, we then have to have an understanding of, like, okay, now we got to refocus on really trying to like repurpose that dollar, because that dollar is not going to circulate in the black community until we start making something, until we start manufacturing things. So for me, that's why I push Pan-Africanism so much, because I always say, if you want to help black people, it's no better way than actually trying to invest in Africa, invest in other black people, invest in other black resources, places where the majority of black people are, so that way these things can be accomplished.
I want to challenge what you said, because you said that what I said was being disingenuous, but I'm looking at it holistically. So if the Asian community has a grip on the hair manufacturing that black women wear or whatever, one, nobody's forcing black women to go get that hair to try to look like white women, but that's a separate issue. But two, that still takes work to shut. Like, if black people are trying their hardest to break into this industry and Asian people are preventing that, that still takes work. So how is that disingenuous? Because like,
well, it's
black people are like,
because you're saying that black people aren't, but I mean, because you stated it as if black people aren't attempting to be inside of these industries. The brother gave you another example of Kanye West in the fashion industry. And what was said when trying to break through in those industries. Other brother who did FUBU, same thing. He told you exactly the same thing. The reason why he sold the company earlier, whatnot. All of these things are reality, bro. And to act as if it's based on black people not trying.
I didn't say they weren't trying.
Ludicrous to
I
me,
said
because it's not,
I said other
like,
groups work harder.
History.
I was saying other groups work harder. I'm not saying black people aren't trying, but what I'm saying is, like, when I go to a black establishment and they're speaking to me rudely or disrespectfully, and I decide to go to another establishment, then that's what happened. They didn't do enough to earn my business. And what I'm saying is, what I see in the black community is a lot of black people want you to do business with them just because you're black and they're black, and they're not going to go the extra mile that other groups they go to get that business. So when I'm going and speaking to a
but why do you say that like that?
Go ahead.
But I'm wondering, like, because you're speaking as if that's the norm. Like, any black business you go to, you're going to be spoken to disrespectfully. You're going to be that the norm where you're from. Like, do black businesses where you are all address you nasty, or or do bad business with you. Like that's the issue I'm at, because like I said, I'm Atlanta, so it's a lot of black businesses in Atlanta. So for me, it's kind of weird to say like every single black. I've been to a lot of white businesses that have been very nasty. I walked right out the door and didn't do business with them. But I never thought that was every single white business establishment. So why are we making it like, why are we putting that stigma onto black business?
I'm not saying it's every black business, but I'll give you an example, right? Black people vote 89 to 95% Democrat, right? Without them having to do anything for black people. So
that's not true. That's not true. That's not true. So, how many black, like I said, when you say that they never do anything for black people, you got to be able to point out how black people have gained absolutely positively no progression since they've been involved with the Democratic Party. That wouldn't be true.
There's no other group of people that gives 89 to 95% of their vote to one party. That's just black people.
There's no other group of people there's no other group of people with the black experience. So why are we comparing ourselves to other people who don't experience the same things that we've experienced?
Because if you're only voting for one party, and the point that I was making with this was that when you're only voting for one party and they no longer have to go out and cater to you, maybe that's a better word than doing stuff for you, but cater to you to get your vote, then they're not gonna work as hard to get your vote. That's the point that I was making. So
I'm sorry, go ahead. I won't cut you off. I'm
sorry. So the Democrat Party, the point I was making was the Democrat Party, they know black people are going to vote for them by and large. So they're not going to work as hard to get our vote than they would for another community where it's split. And I look at the business side the same way. If you're Korean and you don't speak this language and you understand you're going into the black community where they think this and they think that, and blah, 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 you understand that you're going up against the grain. So you're going to work a little harder to get that business if that's your whole business. But if you're black and you grow up around these people and you may get comfortable and be like, I'm from here. These are black people. I'm black people. I'm a black person. That's all I'm saying is when you're coming in as an outsider, I think you tend to work harder when your back is more against the wall and you don't have an advantage.
That's not true at all.